Climate change is no longer a debate to be held. It is our reality and future. So what can be done to enact change? Personal action and political action. On one side, we have the holy trinity of personal action: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Recycling is a growing trend across the country, yet it is often inefficient and environmentally costly. Reuse turns trash into treasures, but unavoidable waste is ever present. Reduction is the most logical and effective, but the most difficult as our consumption rates continue to increase. The other side, political action, calls for us to call our governments to reform bills and laws and cut harmful subsidies. But will our voices be heard? Will a stagnant Congress act when their very campaigns are being paid for by an industry that is destroying our world? Consumerism, corruption, and inequality all combine the climate change in action. Consumerism extends itself to the entire world and keeps power in the hands of those who created this mess. We then reward environmental abuses by consuming more and more. Corruption is profuse as those who control the economy control the political system too. It's no coincidence that a majority of our representatives are in the top 1%, the same percent whose wealth grows every year while inequality increases. Inequality is the natural output of our system, and thus fighting racism, sexism, classism, and every other ism is entangled too. Entire cultures, groups of marginalized people will feel the pain of climate change first, as they can't easily transition to a green lifestyle. Climate change is just as much about human dignity and human rights as it is about saving the planet. So what can we do? Radical collective action. We need to think comprehensively and collectively to combat consumerism, corruption, and inequality. We can take the power back into our hands and change consumers' trends. If we collectivize effectively, our power can make waves in changing these faulty economic and political systems, making way for new systems that may put people before profits. Equality and equity are key to radical collectivization. All voices must be listened to and respected. Just and accessible sustainability for all is an integral part for long-lasting change. Change is happening now as climate change demonstration and organized acts of civil disobedience are already taking place. We must act radically and support these movements to see these unjust systems dismantled or changed. We can't rely on the master's tools to dismantle the house. Thus, we can't rely on singular actions to change these systemic issues. We need to look at the big picture at the start and throughout. With a far-reaching collective movement, we might have a chance at making amends with the only planet we have.
The earth breathes through a plastic bag asphyxiated on human negligence. Men in black suits and pristinely white collars tell children in villages there is no more water. They pull at the strings of an entitled system, place blame on the world when it plays the victim. Impoverished and scared, people cry to their leaders, "The land is so broken and we're stuck in a heater." How much longer will you wait for the ice cubes to melt, for the resources to evaporate, and for the poison to swell? Don't sit back in apathy as the world is drained of its life. Champion and protest to take back the right to fresh air and clean skies and a flourishing world. One must first save the oyster to harvest the pearl. Keep this in mind when you hold the earth's fate in your hands. Is your livelihood worth changing for a chance at future plans?